John Ennis is with us. He is the director of Pay to Play, P-A-Y, number 2, P-L-A-Y.TV is the website. And Pay to Play is a documentary that is playing on Free Speech TV. Part 2 is tonight, or you can view the film in its entirety at 9:30 tomorrow and 8 o'clock tomorrow night on Free Speech TV. For additional showtimes and more information, go to freespeech.org. Hey, John, welcome to the program.
Tom, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, or I should say welcome back. Tell us about Pay to Play.
Well, Pay to Play is sort of what I described as this overall system that is blocking the democratic voice in our country right now. I set out to try to see why candidates that are really promising are at such a disadvantage when they come out from the populist roots and really face the campaign trail. And I came to realize that it's really not just the money, it's the good old boys network. And it's not just the good old boys network, it's the inherent prejudice and racism. And it's not just that, it's, the Powell memo going back 40 years that have set up entire institutions and networks funding operations before you even set foot out the door. And so I set forth in this documentary to try to relay all of these things in the shape of a monopoly board. You walk around a monopoly board and you see these mounting obstacles that you have to surpass as a way to try to help people wrap their mind around all these things, And at the end of the monopoly board, where it would be Park Place and Boardwalk, we have corporate personhood and corporate tax dodgers, because ultimately, it's this corporate ghost that is driving this endless quest for buying up our democracy.
Yeah. Yeah, remarkable. What provoked you to make this film?
Well, it was interesting. I was going through Ohio making another documentary, Free for All, about what happens, and I was doing this in the wake of the disasters in Ohio, moderated by Secretary of State Ken Blackwell. And as I was going through a ballot warehouse where there was just boxes of all these, rotting, decaying ballots everywhere, and I'm looking at the names and I'm seeing all these, some of them some of them you don't know, and you're like, if there were other names on here, maybe it wouldn't be such a close call. Maybe we wouldn't have to, block every single person as the only way to win, And why is that? Why is it, that's really the bigger question. Getting the votes counted is one thing, but how the names get on the ballot, that really is the greater question. And is it, is it just your famous name that gets you on? Is it your family connections? And so I just wanted to be able to show people what the reality of that is, and so they don't get disillusioned. There are ways to do it, but it takes people power. It's not just idealism, but it really takes the concerted effort of people being really engaged. And
so where are people successfully pushing back against this pay-to-play system?
Well, that's what's the real goal of this film ultimately, is that, the third act of this, after we've set up all this stuff, the third act really becomes what I like to think of almost as activist porn. You see so much yardage suddenly captured in such a few short months by people first outing the Koch brothers, then uncovering and organizing a boycott against ALEC, and finding out that the American Legislative Exchange Council isn't just a consulting group or something that hosts events, that they've actually been writing corporate-sponsored legislation for decades on state levels across the country. And so once these things are brought to light, people can organize, and we show immediate impacts, like ALEC sponsors fleeing, the Koch brothers no longer being able to operate in the shadows. And so the amount of progress that people can make once they come out, they really don't even realize how many other people feel the same until they step up. And that's what Occupy Wall Street was about.